Hey, how are you doing, Matt? Stop it.
Always super good when I listen to traditional Quebecois music for the holidays. Rigodon, that's how it's called.
Rigaudon. Yeah, yeah. Traditional music,
Well,
yeah.
I know, I know we're only the 29th, but on Friday it's going to be Happy New Year, my friend. Let's
Yeah,
make it,
2021.
yeah, let's make it the new podcast of the year, 3 days in advance. Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year already. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Happy New Year or just Happy Year?
Happy year.
You know.
Well, I have an important question to ask you.
Go for
Do
it.
you think that 2021 is going to be better or worse than 2020?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know. Was it that bad in 2020? Let's be honest.
No. What do you mean? It was perfect. Global pandemic, everyone losing their jobs, the global economy affected. People have to stay in their home, stop seeing people, stop going to the beach, stop going to the gym.
Stop going to a beach, stop going to a gym. What are you talking about?
Yeah, man.
A lot of people just continue to go to the gym on the beach instead of going to...
No, man. There's places, I think in the United States, there are places that you cannot even go outside. It's just crazy.
Yeah, but that depending on the state. That depending on the states, not every state. But look at it from another point of view. I know you're talking about the United States and all that, but where most of a country that have a social system, people were asked to stay at home, paid by the government or by their employer. Not so bad.
Oh, but yeah, well, the paid portion, I'm not sure about that. But yeah, I mean, I was talking on a global scale. I'm sure if you would do a poll on a global scale, if people had a good year this year, I'm pretty sure it would be 80% bad, at least. So my point was just to see what you were thinking about the future and to try to bring some hope into that new year that is going to be better. And because I wanted you to bring some hope, because I wanted to be the guy that just say no, it's going to be worse. So brace yourself.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
Hey, your mic went off.
I will. Yeah. Sorry. I will not say that. Because first of all, I don't believe that 2020 was so bad. It was not a war. Like, calm down. Like, people were asked to stay at home. This is what we ask people to do. Like, this is what we ask people to do. We didn't say to them, like, like, nobody missed food, I think, for most of the people. Obviously, I lived it in Europe. So, and we didn't see the results yet of the pandemic and everything. But when I look at the year in general, okay, like, people have had a bad year because they couldn't travel. That's bad. Or they couldn't go to their family when they wanted, even if usually they don't go see their family for 3 or 4 months. Obviously, like, some people.
Yeah, but you know what it is? When you cannot do something, that's when you want to do it.
Exactly. But the thing is that 2021, okay, I'm going to be okay, so we play the role. I'm the optimistic guy and you're the pessimistic one. Yeah, 2021 is going to be so good. It's going to be so good and crazy. Like, it's going to be amazing.
Why?
You told me to be optimistic. You didn't tell me to have arguments. I think there is some good stuff that happened because of that. First of all, I think it's going to redefine a bit jobs. It's going to redefine also the importance of people in society. It's going to redefine also what you think about people. So, for example, I think it changed a little bit with how people buy stuff, and they're buying more locally. So communities and all that, buying at the butcher, buying at the, at the shop next door. So I think that show to people, you know, you don't have necessarily to go to multinationals to buy stuff. I hope it's a trend that is, you told me to be optimistic, okay? I hope it's a trend that is going to continue in 2021. I didn't say that it will happen. I'm just saying that it's a trend that seems to appear at the end of the year. What else? I think people will enjoy life way more differently, I hope. Because, you know, they could have noticed that maybe just going on a walk and something like that was a privilege now and not necessarily, you know, something that was granted. So I hope that people will be able to travel in 2021. So that will be good. There will be a cure vaccine of all disease, obviously. I don't know what to say, to be honest.
All disease?
I don't know what to say.
In 2021, we cure all disease.
I don't know what to say. You asked me to be optimistic. Tell me what you think about 2021.
Yeah. Oh, well, first, I don't agree really much with the buying locally stuff, because yes, I've seen these news. I've seen that, and the government are saying like, oh, buy locally because your businesses need help. But at the same time, the government is shutting down all businesses, putting so many restrictions on their activities that they are hurting them. So most of them just closed. And what happened in the end was that you've seen Amazon soar like a fucking eagle in 2020, which I think that's the real trend, and that's what's going to be in 2021. So my prediction is, if you think that it was bad in 2020, brace yourself, because 2021, so many businesses will close because they were just like trying to survive the best that they could. And they will just reach the end of their funds and the credit and everything. And it's just going to crash right at the beginning of the year. And also, everything is going to be redefined, but redefined probably not in a way that you want it to be redefined as a citizen. It's probably going to be, we're going to put more control over everything. Everything's going to be digital. So if you still are not into really digital things, you're going to be way behind and it's going to hurt your life. And what else?
And this episode,
how they can play.
This episode is brought to you by your drugstore next door, where you can find anything that you want to suicide yourself, which is, for example, this really nice robe.
That's a really raw thing to say on an episode. Let's say that we do not endorse any suicide thoughts.
It was a fake advertising, by the way. No, but like,
you what?
I just wonder that people have been complaining about this year. You know, I can't do that, I can't do that. But really, was it a bad year? Let's be honest. Was it really bad? I lost my job, by the way, so I'm not going to be like, oh, yeah. Was it really a bad year for people? I mean, I know that mentally it was really hard for people. Mentally, like, I mean, for a lot of people, it was really hard, you know, being cut socially. I'm here. I'm good. You don't hear me well?
I mean, your sound is a bit low, but...
Oh, really? Weird. So being cut socially, you know, obviously it was hard on people. Not being, you know, obviously, and I wrote I read some stuff on that, you know, all the social environment that you have at work, you know, was really hard also on people, you know, having to work from home. Obviously, a lot of people that didn't know how to work remotely and had to work remotely, like, lose their personal work-life balance, because suddenly, you know, the meeting or you know, staying longer at night, you're checking your email at 9 p.m. or things like that. But at the same time, you know, I'm also thinking about the other side, which is like, a lot of people, you know, have been covered socially by the government and everything. And there was a lot of helps that were given. Obviously, a lot of people have been forgotten in there. But I mean, people were paid to stay at home and watch Netflix.
Yeah, but it was just on a it was just a small period. And what do you think it does for people? It just make them lazier. Like how do you feel when you're at home and you watch Netflix for days and days? I think I know what you say. I know, like, I'm not like we're playing roles, and I know it's not 100% pessimistic at all. But I think that we are, me and you, we're a bit already. Let's say I know we're able to deal with a lot of struggle. We move around, we travel, we live in other cities. Like we have something online, we have our source of revenues online. So it's and also we don't follow any. For myself, I don't follow any news all year long. I haven't seen anything. I was just hearing from friends and whatever was going on, and some people may throw rocks at me for not taking part of it. I'm totally fine with that. My life, in fact, I had an amazing year in 2020, and I'm not afraid to say it. And I know some people have. I know some people have not. But what I'm speaking of is my feeling of the global happiness index, which is probably way lower than it was at the beginning of the year. And by the way, everyone that's listening, stay tuned, because we don't have any plan, but inside me, I know that at the end of the episode, we're gonna just bring you into a new way of thinking for that new year. And it's gonna be a positive one. I'm gonna go out of my role at some point of the pessimist guy. And but I think it's really important to talk about these things, not to try to hide under the carpet and say that everything is fine. I think having the stoic approach is really good with bad shit going on like that, and just say,
but
yes,
I'm not.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying everything is fine. It's just that I hate what I read lately. On Instagram and everything. Like, by 2020, and it's like, because it's going to be the 1st January of 2021, everything is going to change. I don't like that. Like, trying to put everything is shit. I'm not so much into it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, every situation, there is part of shit and there is part of it is good. The thing is, it's always your responsibility to make it the way you want it to be. The thing that you said about the news is a good example. News, I was looking at them at the beginning, and seriously, like, when you watch the news, after a while, you're like, fuck, like, this is depressing. All the news were about, what it was happening and the number of deaths and all that, and nobody was not, we're not epidemiologists, we're not pandemic specialists, we are not, and people were like talking to us like we were experts, and they were like, yeah, there is like 1,000 new cases per day. What does that mean? I'm not an epidemiologist. I don't know. I play Plague on my phone, like this game where you have to put a virus and it has to kill the world. I played that for a number of years, approximately 10 years. It's a good game. Not sponsored. But the thing is that, what do I know what it means, like having 1,000 cases per day? What does that mean? And yeah, you're right. Maybe we have done a lot of work on ourselves, and so we know how to get rid of toxic thing in our life. Where, for example, for news, for me, I noticed that it was toxic after a while. So I was like, okay, get rid of a news, because it's like, it's so toxic that you don't want it in your life. But it's just that I don't want to say that 2020 was good, but I don't want to say that it was bad only. Does that?
I totally agree with you. And I believe that if you think that 2020 was all bad, is because you don't know how to have a positive outlook on life, and your life is probably really hard. And I don't want that for anyone. I would love, my goal is to inspire people to be themselves, and to use their power of how they respond to every situation. And it's exactly what you said. It just all comes down to how you respond to good thing and to bad thing and to horrible thing. It's just how you respond to it. You have that power to see a death of someone as a bad thing, or as a good thing. If you don't know if like the afterlife is not in every way better than here. So if someone would die, it'd be like, oh fuck, man, they're lucky, they're there before me. Like it could just be that you just don't know. And but for some reason in our society, it's like bad if you lose someone, because we just don't want to lose anyone. We feel disconnected when we do. It's okay, but the point is just about the outlook you have on situation. You have the ability to talk to yourself and say, oh, well, that's a bad shit. Okay. But do I let that affect me, or how it is affecting me? How do I make that to my advantage? Because life is an evolving game. It's a game. All your life you're playing a game, and the game is always evolving. If you're not evolving with the game, you lose. That's how you lose the game, is by staying like having a fixed mindset in an evolving game. So you got to evolve, and these years like we just had are catalyst of evolution. And either you jump on the boat or you doesn't, or you don't. But if you don't, you're gonna be left behind and feel horrible. And that's an opportunity. It's what happened is crazy bad. Like you don't want any people to die, and there have been loads of people that have died. But like you said, like I was talking with one of my friends yesterday, and that's funny because after 1 year is the first one of my old friend in Quebec that was like telling me, yeah, you know, they tell us like, oh, there's been like 100 deaths about that. Yeah, but relative to what? In the same period of time, there have been 10,000 deaths of like cancer or something else. Why don't you have a newspaper telling you every day the new cases of cancer, the new cases of death, the new death of cancer, or like the new death by
just the flu?
I mean, just the flu, or just let's have the most funny example: just cow death, people dying. Man, it's crazy. I think there's 10,000 people a year that die from cow just because they are getting crushed by a cow.
Cow, the animal.
Yeah, the animal. so you're like,
why are we talking about cow?
So it's just manipulation of information. It's just wanting you to be scared.
That's a problem of data. That's a problem of data. This is one of the biggest problems in the world, like data. What do you do with data? That doesn't mean anything. Like, for example, I love our right now, and this is what I was saying to friends, you know, like they are comparing the number of cases that we have right now to the number of cases that we have in March. Giving you an example. The difference is that since March, we have way more tests. So obviously, you know, just the simple stuff. If you do more tests, you're going to find more people.
Yeah.
That's math. That's not even like gros bon sens.
That's elementary math.
That's elementary math. If you do more tests, you're going to have more people that are going to respond positive. That's just logic. If you don't do any tests, there is no positive people, no new cases.
Yeah. Second thing,
smart.
If the scope of the tests gets larger, you're going to get also more response. So more tests, more scope, more cases.
Yeah, right now you have like tests for everything. You have antigenic, like antibodies, like thing. Before it was like, do you have COVID or not? It was like as simple as that, you know, it is not. But, you know, that's kind of a thing. Like it's, and I feel, you know, like you can almost classify the problem in two, but it's always based on one thing, which is expectation. And this is where I separate the problem in the world. Like we are part of the 5% society, you and me. You know, whether we like it or not, we are part of the 5% society. And in the 5%, we have what I like to call rich people problem. Yeah. Which is like, oh, I can't travel, or we should care about society. We should care about the environment. We should be careful about the meat that we eat. We should be careful about where the fish is coming from. We should be careful about the planet and all that. I'm telling you, like someone that can't eat. So poor people, really poor people, don't care about where the food is coming from. They just want to have food. You know, climate change, not their problem. Like knowing that it's ecologic, you know, like if it is around them or whatever, like they don't care about that. They just want to eat, you know, like the thing that you hear about, we can travel. There's people that can't travel anyway. It's not about a pandemic problem. So
there's people that won't travel one time in their life, and that's a fucking huge percentage of people on earth.
exactly. So this is why, you know, like when I think about those people, and this is what it's so horrible about our society, is that at the same time, there were the people that were working right now. There were the people that, while the people that were complaining and staying at home and paid by the government are working from home, and they were not doing much anyway working from home, let's be honest. You had people that had to work, that risk their life, you know, being like, you know, nurse, transport, you know, in the supermarket, in logistic in general, factories that they have to continue, you know, work the supply chain of food, electricity, you know, everything that you think about, that you don't think about it, you know, every day. Like you have still water running, you have still electricity running, you have still the gas running, you have still food that is coming to your supermarket. All of that, like you have still the trash being done, you still have, you know, everything that you're not thinking about. All those people had to work for that, and nobody thinks about that. And there was no like you have to stay at home for those people, and there was no like you have to. So, you know, I'm thinking about those people because their year must have been like really shit, because they were still in the shadows. Totally. Nobody like recognized them. Oh yeah, so somebody like, we did the claps like in every country from our windows, like on the Thursday night.
I mean, it's a good thing. It's better to than not doing it, but it's when you take that and you say, oh, I've done my part. That's the moment where and like you say, on the flip side, if I switch to the positive, there have been massive there have been massive like actions or demonstrations of help, of gathering, of getting around to help some people, for hope, for whatever. The atrocities, well, atrocities, that's not a world war, but still at the beginning, what they were telling about everyone dying and crazy in the hospital, especially in the hospitals, people that were working there, was really, really hard on them. So it was some kind of atrocities. Well, you have seen on the flip side people gathering to just cheer for them, which is a good thing. Like, what can you do else? Like, if you're not a nurse, you cannot go to an hospital and say, oh, I'm gonna come and help. Like, you may kill people if you do that. But yeah. Seriously, I would have so much things to say about the pandemic, and I think I will just say one thing really, that you know Brian Rose from London Real. I really like the guy, and he's running for mayor of London. I'm surprised you don't know the guy. And what he point out is
politics
not
in the
UK. yeah. What he point out is what he denounced is the overreaction. And that's exactly how I feel. Because if we would have, I don't remember which plague we had back in time, but let's say we would have a plague that would just kill whatever age you're at. Like, it's not just the old people, like whatever age, and it would really kill people like crazy. Man, I would be the first one to tell people, stay the fuck in your home and just do all the measures that are possible for you to do. But it's not what's happening. It is not at all what is happening, and we have to take drastic war zone measure for something that is not doing that. So that's how I feel. That's the over fucking reaction over all. And I know people would throw me rugs because they're brainwashed that it is a crazy shit that kills all the people. It's not what is happening. And in a year now, we have the data, we see it. But still, now people are just accepting everything. As a society, we don't know how to fight back anymore. We're just lazy fucking people staying at home watching Netflix and just doing everything that they tell you to do. We don't have any more power to just gather and say like, fuck that. And
I think so. Yeah. Just I
no,
just
go,
want to
go, go.
continue on that because I have a question for you because I thought about it and I was like the other day, I was like, we became really docile as a
Man.
society. But I just wonder one thing, and this is a question that I had like after thinking about that. Did we become docile or did we become selfish?
Both, man.
Yeah, but what
That's
is what is the
they go
one?
together.
Because really, because when you look at it, what happened in the US, that happened also this year, which I think was exacerbated by the full pandemic and the fact that people were closed at home, couldn't be with their community and everything. So everything that happened in the US, with racism and all that was also a big thing, right? And so when you look at it, even if people are selfish, like when it's something that is in that, in that proportion, people are still rebelling. So there's still something happening around those things. So this is why I wonder, how much is that we are docile and how much is that we are selfish?
Man, my point of view on that is it's a work that I've started 50 years ago. And we're just I don't know if culprit is the right word, culmination of everything that has been done to make your life easier. Look at all the slogan of every company. It's like the future is simple, the future is easier, everything is easy. You don't want to do anything. If you can find one shortcut that's going to help you spend less energy, you're going to do it. So what do you think that it make people like? How do that transform people? It transforms people into lazy fucks. That's what it is. They just now they just stand on their couch and just watch Netflix and just do on their cell phone. They want to eat. They don't even walk to go to the grocery store. They call Uber Eat. What do you think that all of that is making people? Just
because we can.
Lazy people. Exactly. And when you're lazy, you're way more controllable. You're way more docile. So it's just how all that idea that everything should be simpler, that everything should be easier, that you should not have to walk, you should not have to lift something, you should not have to hunt for your food, you should not have to think. That's what it does at the end. You should not think we're just gonna take care of everything for you. Well, you just become a fucking zombie. That's what happened. And zombies are easily controllable. Like it's sheeps. It's just so yes, we're more docile and we're more selfish because we think that the good thing to do. Just the invention of the selfie, man. The selfie. Why was all the years since photography has been invented until the selfie, you would just be somewhere, you wanted a picture, you would ask someone, hey, can you take a picture of us? And they'll be glad. They'll be like, yeah, sure. Can you take a picture of us in return? Yeah, sure. And you have a great picture and you would not look like a fucking selfish fuck doing your own selfie with your duck face. So
no, the duck face came after. But it's I don't know. The selfie existed before. It was bad, but it existed before. Like, I mean, you remember with the Polaroid, it's just that you couldn't see yourself. So obviously it was like there. Not a good selfie. But it existed. Like, how many people were doing that with their Polaroid,
It was not widespread. It was not like a big thing. But now you have a computer in your pocket. Everyone has it, and they just can reach to all the big companies. They just can reach to you in all the way they want, and just do whatever they want to sell you things, to control you, to do whatever they want with you. There's no law removing them from doing it. I put a tape over my camera every time we finish recording, and oh man, you know what? I was so brain fuck when that guy told me that. I went on the Christmas dinner, and I was with a friend, and he told me that when he went to China, okay, listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you know it, but I didn't know, and I was totally blown away by that. He said that when he was in China, if he put his finger over his camera, his front camera, the phone will not open. It would write in the screen, remove your thumb, remove your finger from the camera so that your phone can open. Man, what the fuck? Seriously.
Thing, like people, okay, so if we're going there, like I don't know where we're going with the discussion, so that's where it's a bit dangerous, because it's like
we can go wherever we want.
I think that people trade their freedom for comfort.
Oh yeah,
people have to agree with that. People have to agree with that. We are followed in everything that we do. We have credit scores in most of the country. We have like credit ratings or whatever you call it. If you want to see what it looks like, you just look in China, as you said, and they are really open about what it does. To be honest, I'm not against that. You know what? Because at least it's fair game. You drink, your credit score goes down. You eat bad, your credit scores go down. Why? Because from a society point of view, you will cost more. I'm not against that. I'm not against that. You know, when you think about it, like this is each time this is the funniest like thing that I read on the internet, you know, around, you know, I'm a lot into food. And, you know, sometimes there is comment about American food. And the best comment I read, like, and this one always makes me laugh. It's like, why American eats like they have free social security system, free social health care. Why they eat like that? Because it's really that. Like, seriously, when you look at it, people eat like they have free health care when it's not the case. So stop eating my shit. Anyway, the thing is that, you know, this year, I think it has shown the worst and the best kind of society, you know, and the worst and the best also in people. And at the same time, you know, how we are ready to be, and how the frontier around stuff are really now blurred. So what I mean by that is that, you know, when you think about your parents, and when I think about my parents like went away from Portugal because there was dictatorship, and I mean not as bad as, you know, what we heard in storybooks and the war and everything, but it was true. I heard stories that people went to prison, the family was bringing cakes and all that to the person, and the person was dead, and we didn't know about it. It was that kind of things, you know, it was that kind of story that they were at the time. So, and people were against that kind of thing, and it was thrown away, you know, by different revolution. And now we are in a different type of society where people, you know, when they work from home and everything, they can't say like, oh yeah, I'm stopping to work at 6 or I'm stopping to work at 5, which will be like a normal day of work. And this is what is insane, is that we went from, you know, people rebelling against everything to get, you know, what they wanted until we get what we wanted. And then now it's more like accepting everything. And it's really weird. But at the same time, again, it's a personal responsibility. It's such a personal responsibility.
Yeah, but there's one point that we cannot avoid if you bring that. And it's really important because
I came back to the point of discussion, by the way, because I didn't want to go to the technology.
No, it's
flying on us. We'll do that another time.
Yeah, but if you bring that it's your personal responsibility, you also have to know that it is not just your personal responsibility, and I don't agree with that at all.
What do you mean? So tell me. I want to know why.
It's your personal responsibility to eat well and to not drink. Let's take back your example. Yeah, you decide what you put into your mouth. Let's say you have the last decision. You eat it or you don't. You have the last decision on the process. But do you really believe that you have freedom of choice over what you eat or not? Because first, you eat what you can find.
You eat what you can afford. You eat what you can afford.
Yeah, you eat what you can afford. And with the range of what you can afford, you eat what you can find. And who control what is in the stores? Who control what you can find of food?
Yeah, but this is where people, so I come back to you. This is where people are lazy. And so they don't take the responsibility. Because when you know, let's forget the people that can't afford certain things and can't afford to have a certain life.
Yeah.
So if I take those people, obviously, but those people generally, this is where it's funny, is because they care about education. They care about eating well still, you know, for some people, like they cook at home and everything. Why? Because it's less expensive. So for the people that have a choice, if I could say, they could get the knowledge to know where it's coming from. Yeah, they could like make the effort, or for example, going to farmers or going to farmers market or doing that kind of things. When you're in big cities, it's possible. When you're in the countryside, it's even better because you have farmer next door. So the thing is that this is what I mean by taking responsibility to your things.
I totally agree with that. I'm not saying you don't have responsibility. I'm saying this is bullshit to think that we live in the same world as 100 years ago. When you would decide to go and have a good cabbage, you will go to your farmer and the cabbage you would get would be a super nutritious cabbage, no chemical on it, no bullshit, no the soil would not be overutilized, and you would get a cabbage that's good for you, and then the circle would be done. You would be, I took my responsibility, I want to eat well, I go to the farmer, I get my organic cabbage, and I come and I eat it, and it does to me the benefit I thought it would do. Now it's not that nowadays. First, most of what's organic is not. And second, if you decide to go to the farmer, even the farmer like has his land and is surrounded by other farmer that does spread chemical on them. And it just goes to their soil, and all their soil are super like less nutritious. So the cabbage, even if you work really hard to get your cabbage, an organic one, a nutritious one, it is not what it's supposed to be. So, and
I get that.
That's the corporation impact on that. It's not like your responsibility.
Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, you know, like you can come back a little bit and say that, and this is where I mean, but it's your responsibility is that, and I'm responsible of that. And I'm saying that I'm not responsible in that sense, for example, in food, because I want to eat avocado all year. I want to eat a mango all year. I want to eat banana all year. I don't care about what season it is. I want my mango when I want my mango. That's what I want right now. And this is what I mean by responsibility. The thing is, if you decide to and this is what I mean by what it's happening right now, you know, is that, and this is where people have expectation. They answer emails in the weekend. So for example, problem with job, like with the pandemic and everything, like they work from home. They work from 9 and they're available on calls all day. You know, from 9 to 6 p.m. And I saw some people with their schedule. It's insane. It's insane. They have a call every hour. But that's your responsibility that you accepted that. That's your responsibility that you accept to answer a Slack notification at 9 p.m. or you answer an email in the weekend. That's your responsibility to decide that. That's not the responsibility of your boss. If you decide to eat strawberries in December, that's your responsibility that you're pushing also a little bit society to push strawberry all year long. And you have shit strawberry to eat in December. So this is what I mean by responsibility. And this is where I think people are forgetting is like, it's almost like people want everything without the cost of anything. What you said basically in the last, I don't remember if it was last episode or the episode before, people want an amazing life, but they're not ready to pay anything for it. I saw the lines, for example, you know, of cars in the US. There is people that going to food bank and they drive Lexus or Camaros. Camaro is 50K, 60K.
Yeah.
It's not a cheap car, but you go to food banks.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you shouldn't have a Camaro. I'm not saying that people shouldn't have that, but the thing is, this is what I don't
No, they
get.
shouldn't.
No,
They
no, but they
shouldn't have
can't.
a
No,
fucking
like,
Camaro if they
no, but
cannot
like,
handle their credit.
no, like it's their choice. It's a personal
No,
choice.
it's not.
If someone
It's
wants to have a
not.
but where I say it's a personal choice is that if someone wants to put their money in their car because this is what they like and they live in a shitty apartment and they eat shit food, it's their problem.
Yeah, I know.
That's a personal choice.
Please stop banging on the table. But I know
Sorry.
it's just that it is not that's the lie of the society. They want you to think that it's all your fault, it's all your responsibility, when in turn you should not have access to credit like that. You should not have a Camaro and go to food banks. You should not even have the possibility to do that. Why
Why?
would you have access to such credit when you don't have any education to use that credit? That's
We
just
ask
silly.
we ask for it.
And then you're like, oh yeah, that's my fault, that's my responsibility.
But we ask for it.
Just should not be possible. It's like, it's the same thing. You should not be a fucking parent if you don't know how to parent. You should not be allowed to be a parent. That's
Yeah, but nobody will have been parent then.
As that.
Nobody will have been parent then.
That's not true, because if you could not really, then you will do the effort to do the parenting course and be accredited to be a parent and then have your child, and not make messed up children because you don't know how to take care about yourself. And in the parenting course, the first fucking chapter would be deal with yourself first, heal your problem first, and then you can have a child. Like, that's just, I know that's crazy to bring that up, but that's the same thing. I'm just making a point. It should not be possible for you to have credit to buy a Camaro if you have to go to food banks. It should be, just makes no sense. But why is it there?
For me, it should be possible. It's not because you have a choice. Yeah, it's not because you have a choice that you have to take it. It's a responsibility behind the scene. If you're dumb enough to buy a Camaro, but you can't put food in your on the table for your family and your kids, there is a problem. This is what I believe.
No, because that's not how it works. It works like, first you get educated by a system that doesn't give you any education on finance or credit, or just doing your own fucking taxes. Okay?
Agreed.
And after that, you're thrown in a world where you have to do everything by yourself and try to come up with creativity and ideas, but you have not been raised to do that. They have not told you how to do that. So then you make total failure and errors, and then you have to go on credit to pay for your error, and now you're on credit, and you just serve that cycle where banks, they just want to give you credit because they're going to get interest on you trying to get out of your struggle, and just paying fucking interest to them all the time, because at first they have not educated you on how to use it. It's like you would give an axe to a child and say, like, cut a bunch of trees without even knowing what's an axe, without even knowing. Man, half of them would just cut their limbs. Like, they would just do a bad shot, and the other tree will fall on you. But then they're like, dude, you should be able to do that. It's your responsibility. That's fucking bullshit. It's half your responsibility. Yes, it's half, but it's not full. That's what they want to think, to make you think. It's not what it is.
So everything that you say, this is exactly why we have a problem of complaining around the pandemic and everything. Because people are lazy, and we're coming back to that. Because people don't want to work by themselves. People don't want to find the answer by themselves. People don't want to be smarter, and they are expecting that everything is coming to their door without doing anything. And this is what I don't agree with.
I know.
This is what I don't agree with.
Yeah. So, but if everything of society is pushing you towards that, can it really be your own responsibility? I'm going to give you a really good example, okay? Smoking cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
It's you who smoke the cigarette. It's you who decide to go buy a pack and smoke that cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
And if you try to stop and you're not able, they say that's your problem. But on the flip side, the tobacco industry, they spent billions and billions and billions into making one thing, to making that fucking stick the most addictive at the highest level that they can. Their own goal is it to be the most addictive possible. And they're putting billions of resources in that. They're going into your psychology. They're going into the chemical reaction of your brain to make sure that that fucking stick will stick to you. And then they say, oh, you cannot stop. It's your problem. Come on, man. Seriously.
I'm not saying, but it's like people that gamble.
Well, it's
and
the
everything.
same thing for, yeah, but it's the same thing for so many things. It's just like you're responsible for everything. Okay, I'm going to make a really good, important point here. I'm not saying you should not take responsibility of your life. I'm not saying you should not take full ownership of your life. I'm saying you got to understand that you're against a system that do everything to put you down. You have this ceiling above your head that's pushing on you to put you down. So it is not your own 100% responsibility or fault if something go wrong.
I'm not saying it's 100% your fault if something go wrong. I'm not saying that. Temptation are everywhere, and I'm not saying that. And I know that some people are more prone to certain things. Some people are more prone to depression. Some people are more prone to addiction. Some people are more prone to, and it's just the chemical balance that we have in our head that we are born with, and the influence that we had and everything. And I'm not saying that it's totally the responsibility of people of being like that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is just that it's your responsibility the way you see it and what you want to do about it. And also, because generally, like, for example, we take your example of smoking, it's also based on the people that you have around you. It's a lot about social pressure. It's a lot about social pressure when you look at it, and it's the same for drugs. And you try because one of your friend tried, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to try also, and because you're like, and this is how it works, and this is how it's going. The thing is, we live in a world of information. So from 100 years ago, when you were saying stuff, that's true, but it was really hard to know something else. It was really hard to, as you said, get educated on stuff, on finance and things like that, But today you can. And the thing is, I know it's still hard for people and everything, but there is one thing that people can say and nobody say it, which is really simple.
Go for it. I want to hear it.
Asking for help. People don't ask for help. And when I'm saying asking for help, I'm not saying like go see a psychiatrist or whatever. Like I'm saying like ask for help to your family or to the people around you, or to people that know that you're very strong, whatever. It's simple. Okay, asking for help, it's hard at the same time, but it's one of the most simple things that you can do, and most of the people don't do it.
We're not raised to know that's what we should do. We're raised to be individuals, to do everything by yourself, and with the American dream of like you can do anything that you set your mind to, and you can do what the fuck. It just has this really vicious effect of making you individualistic, but that's exactly not how it works for a prosperous or happy or just well balanced life. Like you explained in the other episode, people before, you would have a big family and you would just ask for people all the time. It would be just normal. You would not even think oh, should I ask for help or not? It would be like you will be gladly ask for help because you know that people will respond correctly to it or happily to it, because in the other way around, they would also ask for help when they need it. And it would just be normal to just help each other like that. And it's so right what you say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more than ever that we need it.
You know, like there is one thing also that we have to get is that most of the people are sheep.
Mm-hmm. Let's put that straight out of the box. Most people are sheeps. You know, the thing that walks in a in a field, they're all grouped together and they all go in the same direction, or like the bunch, the fishes like that just go together in one big swarm. That's, yeah, most people.
So
80%.
there was this guy that was called Bartle, and it was a psychologist or something like that. He separated society in four, and that was really funny. So one of the people that they call, which is the sheep thing, is socializer. So socializer is approximately 80% of society, which is like the people that, for example, 80 or a bit more. It's the people that do stuff that socialize. It's really like to be social. Like they do, like, for example, gym stuff because they want to talk to people. They don't go to the gym to go to the gym. They go to the gym to talk to people. They do like classes to talk to people and everything. So the three other type of people, you have explorers. It's quite good because it's people that know, like, in games and everything, it's people that know a lot of stuff and everything, but don't necessarily, I mean, they don't necessarily, you know, are the best in this thing, but they know a lot of stuff and everything. Then you have the achievers and the killers. So the killers are the simple or the most the smallest proportion in society. Killers are basically, it's easy to understand them, is like they want to win, but if they win, someone lose. As simple as that. Generally, you see that in profession like sales, trading, you know, that kind of profession. Like you have a lot of killers in there because it's when you call about sharks, that's approximately that. Achievers are a bit different because when they win, it doesn't mean that the other person lose or the person with them lose. Generally, like they bring people with them to win, but it's achievers. And it's funny when you see society like that because, you know, the 20% I talked about, that were not the 80% socializers, is the rest of society. What we have right now, and what we had in the pandemic, it's a crisis of leadership. And this is what it's really funny because, give you an example that we did in the company I was with, that at the beginning I said to them, like, look, right now we are just having, like, you know, scrum in the morning to say what we work on, and every meeting was about what we worked on. What I said is that what we should do, every day we're going to do that. We're going to do a coffee. Now, I was doing that with the company I was before, where we were having coffees during the week, during the day, where any people in the team could call it, and it was you just do a Zoom and you talk about anything. Movies, TV shows, whatever. It's exactly like when you're in a company and you are going to the coffee machine and you talk about anything, you know, how are your kids, you know, how was your, you know, whatever, did you go to a sport, did you do any sport? Obviously you don't try to talk about the pandemic and everything, but the thing is that those small things brings back to normal a little bit the life of people, to what they knew. And I know it's not the same as seeing people, but this is what I mean by a crisis of leadership, because people were thrown into that, and since they were like in a mode where, I like to compare, you know, wartime leaders versus like peaceful leaders, because peaceful leaders is like when everything is all right and everything is running, they know how to lead because they have nothing to do, because everybody knows what to do. When in wartime, you need to have like true leaders that know what to do something. And this is what you notice in the different countries, where you have seen like some leader of a country that have been like way much better at dealing, not necessarily dealing in terms of numbers and in terms of cases or death. It's not that, in terms of dealing with their population, and population were taking it better. And this is what is missing. This is what is missing in everything. And you need to come back to that, and you need to look at the year from that perspective, from achieving stuff, and not necessarily, yeah, you know, you were thrown at stuff, but it's circumstances, and you can't do anything about it. So there is no point in dwelling about, oh, if there was not the pandemic, there was a pandemic. Okay, like there is no point in saying I would have traveled. Doesn't matter. You couldn't travel, so that's it. That's done. You know, like I don't get why people are dwelling on stuff they can't do because this is the situation. For me, I just don't get that. And people love to stay stuck. I want to go to the restaurant at 10 p.m. 10 p.m. everything needs to be done. You need to be at home. I mean, I'm talking about here. So I don't know why people talk about what we can do after 10 p.m. You can't do it. So there is no point in talking about it. And this is what I mean about, you know, taking a bit of responsibility around that, because if you have this pattern of thinking, that's your fault. It's not the fault of someone else. This is just my
well, I would not say it's only your fault. I think there's really a lot of confusion in this fault and responsibility concept, and I'm gonna try to just make it clearer a bit.
Go right, yeah.
What happened in the past? What?
You're better at explaining stuff complicated.
No. It's just that even me, when I was talking before, I could see that, because the word responsibility is used in different contexts. And what happened in the past, I say it is not 100% your fault, or you're not responsible 100% for what happened in your life in the past. But at any given moment, you can stop and take ownership and responsibility and step into the responsible role of your present and future life. You can look forward and say, everything that's now, I take responsibility, even if I got brainwashed, even if I failed, or whatever happened. At any moment, you can always say, I take responsibility of that action, that word that I said, that action that I did or did not. And every time you take that decision to be responsible for that, it pumps your confidence. It pumps your proudness of yourself. It pumps everything that makes you a better human and that makes you better at dealing with future shit. To be a leader, I'm gonna go further on what you said. There's a crisis of leadership, but not leaders of other people. There's a crisis of leadership in people's own lives. You gotta take responsibility of your own life, of your own thoughts, of your own words and action and character and habit. And just the more you step out of the sheep role or the victim role or any of the role of the fucking triangle and you just take responsibility of everything that you think, that you say, and that you act, it gives you more awareness. You just always triggered to be aware. Okay, what am I saying right now? What am I acting like right now? And I'm taking responsibility of it. If I say something bad, yes, I did it. I failed, whatever, and I own it. And then it gives you power. That quote that we said, that's exactly what it is. It is in everyday decisions. If you take responsibility of it, you get power in return. Power to master your own life better. Power to be happier. Power to be more confident. It just gives you all that by simply taking responsibility. So that's, in my opinion, that's the crisis in the world, because the more lazy you are, the less responsibility you want to take. So you're right when you say that's people responsibility, but I will say that's people opportunities that are missed. It's every moment you have the opportunity to take responsibility.
People. But I understand that it can be hard for people.
What?
I understand that,
yes,
not
it
everyone,
is hard for every
not
people.
Everyone. But this is where I say, there is a crisis of leadership, and I was talking about work, because I believe that when you are in a position of power, you shouldn't use that power to bring down people. I
No,
think it was
definitely
Caesar.
not.
I think it was Caesar that said that. I think it was Caesar that said like something like, one of the Caesar, which I don't remember which one, that said like, the true power, I think, is to I think something like being capable to defend the oppressed and the poor ones. So basically, you don't
Mhm.
use your power to basically, which is kind of a night code also, which is your power is not used to do bad things, is used to make good things. And when you have people that are being depressed right now, when you have people being stressed right now, when you have people, generally it's because of work, because you spend a lot of time at work. And I believe that's the responsibility of a leader in the society, managerial position most of the time, but in a leadership position to make it better. And obviously, I'm not talking about your personal life there. I'm talking more about the professional life. But you're right on the personal life also. You're right on that. You're totally right.
Well, I think we're close to the end of the episode, and I said that I wanted to really bring up the ending, and I want us, and I want the heroes, the listener, to just think about the new year. Okay, we're the first day of the new year, theoretically, theoretically, um, and just think about that leadership of your own life concept. Just say like, okay, whatever is happening in the world right now, even if the pandemic is a true one, even if it's a total fake shit manufactured by countries, even if people are dying or not, even if my family is dying or not, even if I lost my job or not, even if I'm happy or not, whatever is happening in your life, I want you to start cultivating a growth mindset. I want you to start cultivating the habit of understanding that you have power at every moment to change your thoughts, that you have the power to take your responsibility for your life, that how you deal with a situation is in your control. You can deal with it differently. And 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 I want people to be more naked. That would be my year challenge for people, to just be more authentic with themselves at first. Say to yourself your own bullshit. Say things that you don't like about you and just uncover them, and be the same with others. Like, stop nurturing their bad habits. Stop telling your friend, "Oh no, you're okay." No, tell them you should stop eating like a fucking pig, and stop complaining about it. Like, just be real. Just be real in your life, and do that. Like, start now and cultivate that habit throughout the year, and you will end up happier. You will end up dealing better with the outside life of what's going on right now. You got to take leadership and ownership of your own life, and stop trying to search for the laziness. Stop trying to search for the easy way. That's so paradoxical, because people want everything, but they just want to go the easy way. That doesn't go together. That
Yeah.
just don't. It just doesn't. You have to go through hard thing to get good result. If you
I
go to
mean,
the
I mean, it
gym,
depends. No, it depends. It depends. I mean, if you want an easy life, lower down your expectation.
yeah. Also, totally. My point is just, it's through the struggle of pumping your muscle with high weight that you don't like to do, that it hurts and everything, that you get more power in your arm. In your arm, that's the same thing for your muscle of your mind. It doesn't feel comfortable to just say things to someone you love that you know will hurt them. but at the same time, you know that it's for their best interests in the long term. See more long term, not short term. Stop just looking like a fucking redfish in front of you. And it's not because it's a good thing in the moment, short term, that it's good on the long term. It's going to impact negatively your life on the long term. Be broaden your view of things. Just get out of the narrow mindset. Cultivate a growth mindset. That's what I want us to be even better this year, more naked, to talk more harshly about the real problems and everything, and to talk more nicely about everything that's going on that's nice. I want us to be more naked, to be better, and to do the exact same challenge that I'm challenging people to do. Be better leaders. We are leaders, man. We can own that even more. We can have a better impact in our life and in other people's life. I want to do the next year podcast and to be able to say, man, look the fucking road we've traveled. Look at how much of an impact positive we had in people's life. We have the power to do that. Mm-hmm. I'm challenging us right now, and it's on record, to be fucking better leaders throughout the year, because I believe it's going to be a shittier year than what we had. I do believe that. I would love to be wrong, but I believe it's only the tip of the iceberg.
I don't.
So
I don't.
We need better leaders.
I don't.
I'm glad you do. Let's see who will write next year.
Because it goes against the point. It goes against the point you just said. I don't care about what year it's going to be. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if it's going to be another pandemic or whatever. I'm gonna decide to have the year that I want. You know, I think during the year, this is where I progress, like through this thing, where I noticed that, you know, there is two choices that you have. Whether, as you said, you play as a victim, or whether you decide to get what you can from what you got. Situation is A. Whether you try to fight to change the situation A, which you will never be able to, or whether you say, okay, what can I do in the situation A? Because you can still travel. Okay, you may not go to the Maldives, but the countryside, you never visited it, and there is maybe a lot of stuff that you can do. So like such wineries and all that, which you never have done. You know, it's as I said, it's a perspective question. You know, I want, you know, in the growth mindset that you're saying, I just want people to be more realistic. I think everybody achieved some stuff this year, whether it's connecting more with themselves, whether it's connecting more with their families, whether it's connected to stuff that they have a passion with and they had more time for it or whatever. You know, maybe it's like watching movies and TV shows. It can be that, you know, I'm not judging anyone. I love that. The thing is, it's a good time for people to just look at it and think about next year, like invest in you. Just invest in yourself, whatever that means. Invest in yourself. And if you're not capable to take responsibility for yourself, take responsibility for someone else. Say to someone else, this is what I'm going to do next year. I'm going to, I don't know, read more books. I'm going to watch more documentaries. If you like watching Netflix, watch documentaries. I'm going to watch more movies that are more around, I don't know, author or problem society or things like that. I'm going to watch classes on YouTube, you know, whatever about, you know, you can find anything on YouTube, so go for it. I'm going to be better at cooking. I'm going to be better at DIY at home. Whatever you choose, you know, like is invest in yourself. And from there, it's whether you decide or not. But the second thing that I will ask people is change the way you speak about yourself and change about the way you see things, because this is a choice that you have. If every day you say to yourself, I'm shit, I do nothing, I'm a failure, guess what is going to happen? If every day you wake up and you're like, I do that in the morning in front of a mirror sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I like you, man. Obviously, why you don't love yourself? I don't get that. I said that to someone else last time. I was like, I don't mind the pandemic. I was stuck with myself and I'm awesome. And they're like, oh, you think you're awesome? I'm like, yeah. I mean, if you don't think you're awesome, you're not saying to other people to think you're awesome. You're just saying to yourself that you think you're awesome, which is not the same thing. What you think about yourself, it was matters the most. What other people think about you, something you can take into consideration. But yeah, so just to add on your growth mindset, this is what I will ask to people. Like make like, you know, what happened during the year, look at the achievement, look at what you want to achieve next year. Maybe it's not a big thing. And just, you know, go from there, take responsibility by yourself, whether by writing it down or by giving it to someone else, to a partner or to a friend, and change the discourse you have every morning to yourself. Change your password to I am awesome.
Mm-hmm.
On your computer. Put a post-it note on
all your account. But I would just add something on that, which is my stoic part. Be fucking realistic. If you want to change that, just tell yourself, I'm a lazy ass fuck. And I have tried to do that for many years and I have not succeeded, and it's gonna be hard. And I'm fighting against bad habit. I'm fighting against things that are super powerful. So when you do that, you're going to first think, oh, is it really what I want to do? Because now I'm real with what it's going to take, which will in turn maybe direct you somewhere that it's really where you should work. And if you still want to do it after being realistic on it, your chance of succeeding are fucking higher, are really, really, really better. If you just look at it, yes, you want to dream, you want to say, yes, I'm going to change that. It's amazing, but be real. It's going to be hard. You already tried it and failed multiple times. And why would it be different? You will have to do something different okay, to get better. Yeah, that's totally okay. That's what is the most okay that can be, is that to be real about what's there. But you have to just think about that. If you already tried what you're gonna try, you will need to find something different to get different result. Okay? Einstein, think of Einstein, okay? You cannot solve the problem with the same thinking that you used to create them, okay? So you have to do something different to have some different result. But that's not the quote I wanted to end with. It was, we were talking about what we think that the world needs the most right now. And we talked about leadership of your own life. And I think that the best quote, the cheesiest one, but the one that the whole world needs so much right now, is the one of Gandhi. You don't like how the world is right now? You don't like the pandemic? You don't like all that bullshit? Well, and you feel that you don't have any power to change all of that, which is fucking true. You don't have any power. You cannot change the big system that's out there, but you have the power to change yourself. So be the change you want to see in the world. Be in your life the kind of man or the kind of woman that you want to see the world on a global scale be. If you're not that, you cannot complain. If you say people are not helping each other, but you don't even help your brother and sister or your friend when they call, you prefer to look your fucking Netflix and instead of going and just mow the lawn of your neighbor, then you cannot complain about what's going on in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. That's what the world needs the most right now.
And if you don't like Gandhi, you can listen to one of the most popular singer of all time, Michael Jackson, "Man in the Mirror."
Oh my God! I don't know this song. I'm gonna listen to it right when we finish.
I'm starting by it's the chorus says, "I'm starting by the man in the mirror. I want to make a change. I want something different in my life." This is the first sentence in the song.
I have chills right now.
So, Michael Jackson, if you want to listen to a song, start by the man in the mirror.
There you go.
And you can ask for help, by the way, before you finish. You can ask for help.
Yes.
It's not showing weakness to ask for help. It's showing strength.
No.
It shows that
Yeah.
you know, and you're
Please
putting
do.
yourself vulnerable. So ask for help. As for us, if you want, send us an email, whatever. You can ask for help.
We're there.
I'll let you
To be
conclude.
honest, we're not receiving a lot of feedback, and we have so much love to give, so much help and support to give. So don't hesitate. We're there. We're reachable. Just send an email, and we'll gladly respond to it the best way we can. And seriously, ask for help. I know we joked about like having a shit life and wanting to kill yourself, but that's just joke. Like I hope you know it. It's there's always a way out of your own suffering, and it's not by killing yourself. It's by reaching out for help, by finding new ways of seeing things, because you're just trapped in how you see things. Talk to people, reach out to fucking strangers. Who cares? Like, they may have a piece of the puzzle of your life for you. So just reach for help if you need help. And I wish you a wonderful, powerful, and happy year. Happy New Year. I want you to feel happy in your life, in how you see life. Even if the whole world crumbles around you, you have the power to be happy. And that's what I want you to discover this year, to everyone that will listen to that.
I'm gonna finish before you finish. So I'm gonna say exactly the same thing. Like, think about everything that you achieved, because you achieved plenty of things. Share it with the people around you. Whatever, like, everything's gonna be all right. Everything's gonna be all right. It's another song.
Yeah.
And I'll let you finish.
listen to Bob Marley. Put it on your ringtone or your alarm every morning. That's what I do. That is my alarm every morning. It's Three Little Birds by Bob Marley. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is gonna be all right. It's the truth. If you don't understand that truth, you gotta listen to it until you do, because it will change your life. And as always, you have to be yourself and have fun, because why not? That's the purpose of life, just to be yourself and have fun. That's what I believe, and I'm going to spread that message to the four corners of the globe.
There is no corners in the globe. Have fun. See you next week. See you in the new year, man.
See you in the new year.